Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 250 of the NintendoFuse Podcast. We are so grateful that you're here and joining in the live chat. We got a live chat going on our live episode already, celebrating 250 episodes. It's pretty exciting. Tonight we're going to be talking about Xenoblade 3, some rumors around GameBoy and the Nintendo Switch Online. We're going to be talking about a lot of updates on the Switch Online, including Genesis stuff, a Splatoon 2 coming to expansion pack, a release date for Splatoon 3, Sonic Origins, and a lot more. But before we jump into that, my name is Steve, and I'm grateful to be here with you all. Also joined by Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. Always a pleasure.
And, of course, joined by Greg as well. Hey, Greg.
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Happy to be here, as always.
Yeah. It's pretty great to be here. Episode 250. Guys, that's kind of crazy. We've been 250 episodes of this. So I know I've been here from the beginning. You guys have been here. Like, we were still under 100 when you guys came on board, though. So yeah. You guys have been here for the vast majority of these episodes so far. Of course, huge shout out to Hassan, who started this podcast years ago and got us all kicked off and everything. But yeah, going strong for 250 episodes. We also have a game giveaway tonight. Barry, what is that game? Remind everybody what we're giving away tonight.
We're giving away a digital code for the game Terrorbane, which we discussed last episode in our game chat section.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out our game chat, checked out our written review, we also have an interview that Barry did with the writer of the game, but also he plays the developer in the game as well. So it's
made that interview very surreal. Surreal, like just.
It did it. Like at the very beginning, it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the more he talked, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am living the game again. This is great. So that's really cool. All that tonight. We're going to give away the game, bunch of other stuff to talk about. But before we jump into that, we want to just remind you all, if you've not followed us on social media, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at NintendoFuse. And also, if you have not joined our Discord, we would absolutely love to have you on our Discord. The link is on the screen, but also in the show notes, the YouTube description as well. We would absolutely love to have you join in the conversations about games and so much more. It's constantly growing, so make sure you head over to our Discord as well. Just a kind of a programming note before we jump in. We'll remind you of this later, but normally we do this podcast every other Monday, and we do it live. Like we're doing live right now. We have a chat room going that we're going to refer to throughout the episode. But episode 251, so our next one will be pre-recorded because of some scheduling conflicts of us not being able to go live, primarily my scheduling conflict, if we're honest. So we'll still premiere it on YouTube for episode 251, so you guys can watch when it goes live at our normal time of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. But we won't be able to interact with you like we normally do because it will be pre-recorded for episode 251. So, yeah. So, what was Jakester talking about? It's always Steve.
It's always your fault.
Oh, it's always my fault. Yeah, that's true. That's actually, it is true. We won't get into why, but it is always my fault. But anyway,
we're gonna need to make up our own Jakester comments too.
So yeah, that's true. Hopefully
there's some good news to talk about. Like, oh, Jakester thinks that Xenoblade 3 is coming out too early or something. I don't know.
Yeah. We finally have a date for Mother 3, and Jakester's not excited. No, to also be honest here, I'm always honest, but to be honest again, I try to not be here. I want the other guy. I want these guys to keep on going without me, but they insist that I'm here and a part of it. So blame it on them because they want me around. I don't know why.
How dare we like you?
I know, it's weird.
What's wrong with us?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Well, we've been playing some games this last couple of weeks. Some of us more than others, but let's get into that. If you are joining us live, please let us know what you've been playing in the live chat, both on YouTube and Twitch, and we'll refer to that as well. But Barry, get us kicked off on what you've been playing.
Yeah, so on the Switch, I'm still doing daily Animal Crossing. In fact, I'm actually doing it ×2 because my wife had to go to Tennessee to take care of her father for a couple weeks and forgot her Switch. So I am now babysitting her Animal Crossing island.
Nice.
And so I'm playing Animal Crossing ×2. Pokemon Unite still doing, daily matches every night, just having some fun with it. Booted up a game I haven't booted up in a long time, which is Tetris 99. They had the Kirby Maximus Cup this weekend, so I did that and got my borders and themes, and then they also had the 2 previous Kirby themes on sale for a ticket each instead of 30 tickets. So I don't have a lot of tickets, so I'm like, all right, you know what? For a ticket each, I'm gonna grab them. So it was interesting getting back into Tetris 99. Got my ass kicked, but I did get down to 10 on one of the matches, so I thought that was pretty good considering I hadn't played in since the Skyward Sword Maximus Cup,
Yeah, I
which was
remember the
quite a
last time
while
I played.
ago. And then I also played a game called The Sorrow Virus, a faceless short story, which I would love to tell you all about, and we had planned to talk about, but the embargo isn't until Wednesday, so we will be talking more about that next episode.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation 5, I am still doing Horizon Forbidden West. I'm still kind of torn. Some people prefer the first game, some people like the second one. The second one is very ambitious. I see where they're going with the story. I want to say I'm maybe 35% through. I keep getting distracted by side quests. That's a terrible thing when it comes to open world games. Always distracted by side quests. I like the story. I like where it's going. I am curious how they're going to end it. I almost feel like there's more politics involved, in this and the different tribes and cultures. And I know some people don't like that, and some people, don't care about the tribes, and especially the names are kind of hard to remember who's who and what's that. And I can't tell what you are from a distance. I don't know. You're a person. So it's kind of off-putting in a way, but it's also kind of makes sense, and it's fascinating, the lore and the story. But I like it. Overall, I like it. I'm still playing. I definitely plan to complete it. I don't know if I'm 100% it. Probably not, but I do want to see it through to the end. Put in enough time at this point.
Nice.
And on the PC, I'm still doing Final Fantasy 14. 6.1 dropped. Literally, I think the day of our last podcast, 6.1 dropped, and or it was the next week. I think it might have been next week or whatever, next day. Lots of cool content. Love seeing the story continue. The new raid is fantastic, and just a lot of changes, good changes for the class I play, which I like. And mobile, for some reason, I'm still doing Dragalia Lost. They just added new story and a new battle that they were working on prior to the whole we're killing the game. So I got to experience that and have some fun with that. And Mario Kart Tour. That's really where I've been putting more of my mobile time on now, because at least that game's going strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they just release another track as well? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I saw that.
Every other week they release new tracks.
Yeah. So keep going, and maybe we'll
Yeah,
eventually see those tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
this was another brand new one too. Like, not like a lot of times, like there'll be a new one, but it'll be a new one from an old game. Like, this is a new Mario Kart Tour exclusive track.
Cool. Cool. Going to the chat real quick, and it looks like Jakester says he's been playing last playthrough of Fire Emblem Three Houses, did Tetris 99, and restarted Lego Harry Potter collection, and have finished the first game, started on the second game. So nice. Yeah, be sure to let us know what you've been playing in the chat room, and we'll refer to that as well as talking about what we have been playing. So, Greg, you got quite the list this time. We've been playing.
Yeah, I was just trying to tie up some loose ends on a number of the games that we've talked about on previous podcasts. So I went back into Terabane and found like a few more of the errors. I didn't quite finish like the actual playthrough, like an actual playthrough of it yet, but I was just trying to work my way there. So it was just still kind of fun finding some of the programming glitches, as they call them, throughout the game. And I just went past like this one part where you go like through like the vault or whatever. I don't know if like that's like where that is in the conjunction of the whole storyline,
You're
but
close to the
oh,
end.
so it is like close to the actual end point. Okay.
I liked the vault. The vault was fun.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty much it from there. That's where I'm at on my first playthrough there. I've been playing a lot of A Robot Named Fight, so I know that's a huge thing for Premium Edition games, and I finally got around to playing it. It's that Metroidvania type game that's also a roguelike, so it's very interesting the way that it's like done and how it's like nothing is ever the same on each time that you die. I just really don't like losing a lot of the progress. So that's kind of where I feel on it. It's kind of difficult to feel like you like get 3 or 4 weapons and then you die and then you're basically at ground zero completely. Like you can't save and resume. And I have no idea how long the actual game is, but I don't like I still try to feel like I do better the next run, and then I still die after like whatever the second or third boss after acquiring some of the same weapons. So it's or at least weapons that do similar things because they have that's the way that the game is structured with the different weapons that you find. So I don't know. Maybe I'll still continue to play that as it goes on, but we'll see. I also put another hour into Conan Chop Chop. I finally realized how to start a single player thing. I really wanted to had that on my like list to try to actually do a single player mission to see how it plays out. And yeah, it is pretty hard to do when you're just by yourself,
Right.
and it's definitely recommended
Yes,
to
it is.
play with friends.
They
I
kick
was
your
like, it
butt.
can't be that bad. And then I was like, oh, I can survive like a section of the screens and only make it to like one town or something like that. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Because the enemies don't really drop a lot of health. There's only so much meat you only can carry one piece of meat at a time.
Mm-hmm.
These next few, it was more centered around my playing with my daughter. We were playing some Splatoon 2, like local multiplayer. She really has fun just doing like 1v1 on the turf war, so it's still kind of fun just to practice. And then I think we did do like 1 or 2 rooms with like a bunch of random people, and it was still kind of fun just to kind of go through and play it. I know our stories that we'll relate to, we'll talk about this further, but I already had purchased the DLC before like we talk about that, so I didn't expand on that anymore, but I will probably be diving more into that now that it's included, because I'll be trying to help my daughter complete that story stuff, I'm sure. Did a lot of playing with the Forgotten Land previously, so I finally dove into Kirby's Adventure on NES for the first time, and I'm surprised that it's actually tons of fun, like all the different power-ups and everything. I think it's a little too
Surprised?
easy to
Probably, I'm guessing you mean surprised because you just never had tried it, and yeah,
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 it was more like just like a surprise that how much I enjoyed it. Is
Oh, that's different. Yeah, it's a great game.
I had never played it previously, but it certainly has that like the NES difficulty at times, and like I don't really like the losing the power up every time you're getting hit because it makes the boss fights a lot harder. But um, it's definitely interesting to see how the powers have evolved, especially in like Kirby's Forgotten Land, where there's still the fire power up that pretty much behaves the same. He turns into like a little fireball. There's like still like the iconic sword one that makes him basically like Link, and some of the other ones like have all like stood the test of time into his latest adventure. So that was pretty cool seeing a lot of those, like how they behave in 3D versus his initial 2D adventure. So I got to like World 4 or something. I don't know how many there are. Like I know there's like 5 levels per each world.
I think
So
6, maybe 6.
yeah, I can't imagine it's a whole lot longer because the Mario games aren't usually that much longer than that. But yeah, still we'll try to plan on finishing that one up at some point in the future. We were on a huge Sonic binge this weekend. Watched the first 2 movies this weekend for both of them for the first time. Like the second one was in the theater. The first one we found on streaming, and then she wanted to actually see one of Sonic's old games, so we booted up the Genesis app for the first time and played Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And noticeably missing they don't have the first one for whatever reason, but yeah, we played the second one, and there's like a versus mode, and she had a lot of fun just running through the level as like Sonic because she refuses to be player 2, so I have to be Tails, and I have no problem being Tails, so I like Tails better actually. So it was still kind of fun going through some of those classic levels with the Emerald Hill and special stage and whatnot.
That's awesome.
Then we also did like another mission or two in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. She had gotten it for her birthday, and she hadn't really played the game pretty much all year yet. So she finally decided she wanted to continue on there. We finished like some of the Olimar's missions. So that was kind of fun to wrap those up. And then also did a few rounds of Super Mario Party because she just loves playing Mario Party games. And then finally just still playing Fire Emblem Heroes. That's still going strong, and they have their Golden Week celebration with all these major summoning events and all that stuff going on for Japan's Golden Week.
Nice. Jakester said you shouldn't be disappointed. He's also a fan of Tails. I am too.
I like Tails too.
Of all player 2s, Tails is possibly the best.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like Mario's always better than Luigi and whatnot, except when Luigi actually can fire.
We're going to make some enemies right now.
That's fighting words right there, you know.
But, I mean, you get the advantages Mario in just about all the Mario games. I mean, you always go first, and like in Mario 1, you can beat the game before the other player 2 even gets a chance to play. So like that's before they realized how co-op games actually work.
That's true. Yeah, it's I'm on this thinking. My mind just started going through all the different player 2s, and yeah, I think I would put Tails as the best player 2 in my mind.
Especially Sonic 3, where he could fly. Like Sonic 2, he's almost a carbon copy of Sonic, but Sonic 3, he could has the ability just to fly wherever he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I don't know.
Although in like the adventure games and stuff where they confine him to a robot mech, like Adventure 2, like he's not as good. Or give him the bombs only as only way of attack.
Yeah. Jakester is also saying Luigi's better than Mario because he's a Ghostbuster. But like you said, Greg, he's got FLUDD, so sucking up ghost or spitting out water, what's better? So.
He can hover.
You realize, Steve, you just set that up for a very, very dirty joke, right?
Moving on. I have been playing something very wholesome, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. It's I finally ended up picking it up, and my wife and I started playing through episode 4. And I don't think I realized for this Lego Star Wars game like how much they changed it up for this iteration, because I think the whole time I'm thinking, why did it take so long for them to put this collection together? Why was it delayed? If like 2/3 of the game, actually more than that, was already done, couldn't they just like up-res it and move it on out? But they redid like everything. Like they redid the graphics, they changed some of the storyline a little bit. I mean, this main story is still Star Wars, of course, but it's a little changes from the original ones. And the camera angle is different. Like all of a sudden, like you're more of a third person behind every character. Like there's some exception, like few exceptions, but for the most part, you're like directly behind and zoomed in a little bit more into what we now know as more of a traditional third person view game. And I don't know if I like it like that. I was
actually like. Can you pull the camera back?
You can't. As far as I know, you can't. And I preferred the more isometric view of a lot of the levels in the original games, just because I was able to see more. And playing it single player is probably fine, but when you're playing it co-op, you get the split screen and you get less of the screen of the whole world to see, and that was tough a little bit for me but I got used to it a little quicker. For my wife, who is not really into playing games like that a lot of times, she was struggling at where to go. Where are you again? How do I find you? Where am I supposed to be looking? That sort of thing. So that was kind of unfortunate, because I think partially because of that camera angle and everything. So there might be a way to zoom out the camera. I didn't look. I just assumed that it was what it was. I do know you can change like inverted axis and stuff like that, but I didn't look to see if you can zoom out. Logan's asking which game that was. If he's asking about me, that was Lego Star Wars, the new one, the Skywalker Saga. So, but it was fun though. It's still a blast. It looks great. I love how like they were able to up-res everything. I did end up getting it on Switch because I felt like this was going to be a game that I'll want to play on the go. And so, I ended up getting on Switch, and it looks great. Like I mean, it's not 4K, but it looks really good. And I know that this is another one of the games that they possibly use the up-resing thing that possibly is built in now, where they can like down sample and then up sample it again or something like that. So, if that's the case, or whatever they did, they made it look really good. And then, played Rocket League, Clash Royale on mobile, and also played the Sorrow Virus, which unfortunately we can't say anything about because embargo isn't up until April 27th. But catch that on our next episode. We will talk all about it. Keep letting us know what you have been playing in the comments and the live chat if you're watching live. We'd love to know what you guys have been playing. But that's what we've been playing this week. Unfortunately, because of that embargo, we found out a little too late. Honestly, that was the case, and so we don't have a Game Chatter review tonight. But in place of that, we're going to give a game away. So hopefully you're okay with us not having to review this episode, but instead we're going to give a game away. So Barry, let's give away TerraBane.
Yeah, so I'm excited about doing this. So we had this on Twitter, and we asked everybody to, follow up NintendoFuse, follow the creators and the developers of TerraBane, and retweet. So I took all the names down of everybody that did that, and I'll run this here. And the winner, according to this, is Math Grill, named Michelle. So it's at Math Grill. If I don't know if you're watching right now, congratulations. If you're not and you see this afterwards, please DM NintendoFuse for your code. And should Michelle not get back to us, we will pick another winner.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, and we had quite the turnout for this one. This was really exciting to see everybody hopping on there and entering in this contest. And thanks to the developers of TerraBane for giving us that code to give away. And if you're still want to know more about the game, we've got this is kind of like a full coverage kind of thing that we did for TerraBane. So we've got a written review on NintendoFuse.com. We've got our game chat that we did on our last episode of the podcast, but also as a separate video on our YouTube. And we also have an interview with the writer and the guy that plays the developer in the game as well. So if you're wondering what's this game all about, you have plenty of content to check out TerraBane for sure. And congratulations again to our winner. All right. Well, let's move into some news discussion. And there's this first story I know at least made one of us really excited. Probably a little bit of a problem, I know, what we talked about in Discord. Like now you gotta juggle some stuff. So Barry, tell us about why you're so excited.
Well, before I do that, there's a little bit of breaking news that just happened 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
So I figured we'll throw this in really quickly.
Totally.
This is on the spot. Nintendo of America just tweeted out, and I'm going to direct quote here, "This is Miyamoto. After consulting with Chris San, my partner at Illumination, on the Super Mario Brothers movie or film, we decided to move the global release to spring 2023 to April 28th in Japan and April 7th in North America. My deepest apologies, but I promise it will be well worth the wait." So we have a little bit of a delay to the Mario movie, but Miyamoto-san himself promises us it'll be worth the wait. What do you guys think about that?
Doesn't surprise me.
A rushed movie is a bad movie forever. A delayed movie is great forever.
There you
I
go.
was thinking the same thing, Greg.
It's like I've heard that quote before somewhere.
From probably the same person that put out this tweet, according to it.
Probably. Did you know that tweet
Tweet.
that tweet is or that quote is actually, man, that's a tweet and a quote. That quote is not actually by him. Like, it's kind of made up or whatever. Like, I was watching something the other day, and technically he never actually said that, or there's no record of him actually saying that quote. It's just been attributed to him. But
That's a good thing to get it, added to you, though.
yeah, it's a good one because it keeps being reused over and over again. And now about movies. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, and I think, yeah, Greg, what you're alluding to, I mean, hopefully just makes for a better movie in the end. Yeah, with the world the way it is, like, it doesn't surprise me things get delayed anymore. So yeah, just hope it means better in the end.
Now, here's a question. Do you think this is any relation to Sonic? Like, they saw Sonic 2 and said, we need to bring more to the table.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen Sonic 2 yet, but
Oh.
Sonic 1 was good enough for me to go, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think they
Sonic 2 was
finally
good.
have, like, hit a good stride with video game movies, and so potentially, yeah, that could be some influence there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the Sonic 2 controversy, even though I just saw the movie this past Saturday, but I thought it was actually a pretty decent movie.
There is no
Um,
controversy.
oh, you were just saying like why they moved it to April or whatever, but
Oh, no, I'm saying, like, Nintendo looked at the Sonic movie and said, like, oh, hey, this is really good. We need something of that caliber to compete. The Mario movie is now no longer up to snuff, is what I was referring to.
oh, I mean, it is like an animated movie versus like a movie with CGI, but I don't know. Who really knows these things? I mean, it could just be like they didn't like the design of like Mario or something. They had to like redesign him and re illustrate like a lot of his parts or whatever. I have no idea. It could be any number of things.
Could be any
As,
number of things.
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it could just be like a script change or who knows. I mean,
They got to rework Chris Pratt's Mario voice.
I don't know. I would have thought like a Christmas release would have been more solid, but I obviously understand that the delay is obviously they feel like it's needed. So um, who knows? I mean, maybe they're even trying to plan something like with like Super Nintendo World around it too to help like boost like the theme park stuff as well. I mean, I know like I think it's California is supposed to open up next year. I think too with like the Super Nintendo World. So I don't know. It could be something even tied to that. Even I mean, you don't really know. I mean, they could even be making an actual Mario Brothers movie, the game kind of thing too, an actually good movie spin-off game. So I don't
That's
know.
true.
Yeah, there's so many things it could be, and obviously delays always kind of stink. But I mean, it's only a few months, so it shouldn't be bad in the end. And as I was just joking around, like they're obviously delaying it for whatever reasons that they need, and it usually just means be a better product in the end. So kind of stinks to have to prolong seeing it for a few more months, but I guess it'll be worth it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
All
Now tell
right.
us about why you're so excited, Barry.
Yes, very excited. Nintendo's just doing these random tweet drops, kind of like what just happened. Just randomly, here's a brand new trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which shows off brand new gameplay, the battle system for the first time. Everything looks phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But then they surprise us in a year where we really expected more delays. I mean, we just had Breath of the Wild 2 delayed. They're like, no, you're not getting it in September of this year. You're getting it in July of this year. What? Like, you pushed this up? Monolith Soft made this massive MMO like style open world, amazing looking RPG, 100-hour RPG, and had enough time to push it up because they were that far ahead. But the Breath of the Wild team, which is working off of the Breath of the Wild engine, which came out before Xenoblade 2, mind you, almost a whole year before Xenoblade 2, it is delayed. What's going on here?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. And to move a game up that much, like in a world where we have games move or movies moving back, games moving back, delayed all the time, and all of a sudden, like, was this like 6, 8 weeks, something like that, moved up?
It
That's
was September to July, so it's more than that. It's over 2 months.
almost 2 months. Yeah, so that's crazy. So yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think as well. I think it's I mean it's always exciting. I hope, I guess, like we were just talking about with the Mario movie, and alluded to, the games. I hope that this doesn't mean it's rushed in any way. I doubt it would be. That would seem very surprising at all. Maybe they saw they had a hole and like, well, let's move this game up. It's not quite ready yet. That doesn't sound like Nintendo. It doesn't sound like Monolith Soft either. So
No.
I don't know. Like
My guess is Xenoblade 2 came out in December of 2017, and Torna came out like I think September or October-ish of 2018. So they've been working on this game since Torna. I feel Definitive Edition and Future Connected were done by a smaller team inside Monolith that wasn't the main team. That would be super impressive if they did this since Definitive Edition. But so 2018 till now, you're looking at 4 years. Breath of the Wild was March of 2017, and let's be real, Breath of the Wild was probably done in 2016. They just pushed it back for the Switch launch. What were they doing for 7 years, 6, 7 years now? What are we doing with this? And it's using the same engine. And yes, Xenoblade 3 definitely looks like it's using the Xenoblade 2 engine that's been enhanced and updated. But still, they changed up so much just looking at the battle system and the whole morphing the characters together. I love that. That was done in like Tales of Zestiria. And I know some people don't like Zestiria. I enjoyed it. But that was part of the battle system where you had two characters together, or you can armatize and turn them into one character. I like the fact that you get 6 party members, or you can turn them into 3 more powerful party members, and you can really, use that strategy to change on the fly. I think that's really a neat system.
Yeah, Greg, I'm interested. From what you've seen so far, is this enough to push you into Xenoblade?
It certainly seems like it's worth like a play. I mean, like I could try to like rent it if I don't know if I'll enjoy it just based on the history I have with it. But I know like the combat seems to change like better since like the first game, and I know I still need to give like the second one like a proper shot. But I was like kind of contemplating like reserving it from like a library or something to just try to get a little bit of play like on the second one just to see if it's changed enough in the direction that I need it to go to be more enjoyable. But
Totally different system. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I point out in the podcast, I'm not really the best at the live action battle sequences, especially involving combos and like timing stuff with other like teammates and stuff. So that was my major problem with the first game. And so unless it's going to like Final Fantasy turn-based combat, then it would actually be wonderful if they could implement that. But obviously, I don't think any of the fans would appreciate that in the slightest.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely 2's combat. The combos are so much simpler because all you have to do is push ZR or LR, and they pops up on the screen when to push it, and your AI is smart enough. So like if you do fire, and it's like, oh well, I don't remember what the combos was. So let's combos with lightning. You'll see one of your partners switch to a lightning blade if they have it, like ready to go. Like the AI will automatically switch to what combos you can do. So that's something you don't even have to worry about. Like it's all auto done for you. And once you figured out some good combos, it's great, and it doesn't take long. I will say the battle system is significantly slower to start off with because you have auto attacks that build up your skills. So it's very slow at the start. However, through like skill trees, you get the ability to automatically have your skills ready to go at the start. So once you start having that, you just come into battles full blazing and swapping. And the cool thing is you do your 3 combos or your 3 moves with your blade, you swap to another blade, and their moves are ready, and you can just constantly peg at the enemies and get them down. And three's combat looks like it's evolved from Torna, because Torna was an evolution of twos, and this looks like a further evolution. And with the combining, that's going to add some new layers of strategy. And like Nintendo's been like releasing little videos and information about it. Like one of them is the attacker, like the main character is like an attacker combo. One of them's a tank, and one of them's like a healer. So you got the pretty much the standard, RPG trifecta of tank, dealer, DPS, and all that stuff. So I like that. I'm interested to see how they do it. Also, kind of gives off like Pacific Rim vibes, if you've ever seen Pacific Rim, with the two piloting in sync into one. I think that could be some really interesting mechanics and definitely some interesting story around that.
That's cool. Barry, tell us about this the special edition a little bit. What comes in that, and yeah, are you excited about it? Is this because special editions? We're gonna spoiler. We're gonna talk about another one that's a little convoluted a little bit later in the episode. So
I'm always a fan of special editions, especially physical special editions. This seems to be the very first Nintendo of America published special edition where you're getting the game and the soundtrack. Of course, that's what it shows in the picture. That could also not be the case, because every other special edition that Nintendo's put out that came with the Steelbook, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Super Smash Bros., Xenoblade Chronicles 2, all of those, you just got the game. Metroid Dread as well, you just got the game in the Steelbook, you didn't get the actual case. Where Europe and Japan, you get both the case and the Steelbook, like most other companies. So it's interesting to see what they'll do. And you also get an art book, which they've all come with art books. The art books are always beautiful and great. What worries me, however, is this is going to be the first time Nintendo is putting out a game only on the My Nintendo store, the brand new store they launched. Now, I'm having PTSD about Hyrule Warriors Special Edition and Mario Kart 8 Special Edition, having 500 copies only in Nintendo New York for all of North America, because that's about the amount of people that would want those games. So I'm really hoping it's not like that. I really hope they put limits. I hope it's not like, oh, it's up and it's sold out, and sorry, we only made 1,000 copies. Sorry, we didn't think there was going to be demand. I hope they do like an open pre-order, which would be the smartest thing they can do, because they produce everything. See what their pre-orders are, and then print, round up to the next 1,000, and go from there. I think that would make the most people happy and let everybody get a chance at this. What I do hope is that it does go well, and then they start to say, hey, we could take some of these smaller titles like the Famicom Detective Club games, do a 2-pack, and make a physical in America, because they did in Japan, and make it a My Nintendo store exclusive, because they don't need to pay retailers or need to give any money to that, and they could do an open pre-order type system and print on demand. I hope they do that and get some more of their catalog out there physically.
Yeah, that's true. Roth said that Skyward Sword Wii actually had the 25th anniversary CD in that. And shout out to Roth. I know he was at PAX East this last week. If you haven't checked out his videos and stuff, he did a really cool job covering PAX East. So be sure to check out his stuff.
It had the soundtrack. I'm talking Steelbook.
Okay.
I'm talking literally the Skyward Sword on Wii had the soundtrack as a bonus. But I'm saying on the Switch, anyone in North America that came with the Steelbook only came with the Steelbook. It did not come with the actual retail case as well. It came with other bonus stuff. But if you got like the Super Smash Brothers with the Pro Controller, you got the Pro Controller and you got the Steelbook for Smash. If you did the Metroid Dread with the big, beautiful, shiny box, same thing. Well, everything from Nintendo of America is like that. Versus Europe, Nintendo of Europe gets a lot of Steelbooks we don't. They've had Steelbooks for Luigi's Mansion 3, that's glow in the dark, Mario Maker 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 1. They did Pokemon. All the Pokemons have had Steelbooks, including Legends Arceus. Let's Go, and in Sword and Shield they had individual ones. Shining Pearl had one as well. There's so many European exclusive. Daemon X Machina, which Nintendo published, got one. Nintendo of Europe is like here. Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury got one. And Nintendo of America is like we're going to be very stingy with them. And when we do, we're not even going to give you a retail case, something that costs us mere cents. You're not going to get it. Ha! It's like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And now that I think about it, I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, that's interesting. So, which, doesn't bother me as much because I'm not a collector of that kind of thing. But for collectors, I could see how that would really be a pain in the butt.
It's weird because it's not across the board. If it was like that across every region of Nintendo, it'd be one thing.
So you
but
gotta
when
import
Nintendo
everything.
of America is the only one. Yeah, well, I've had to import a lot of steelbooks because Nintendo of America refuses to give it to us. It's just ridiculous. It's like, come on. Again, if this works on my Nintendo and they start using their store wisely, they could give us a lot of exclusive stuff that they should, because again, open pre-order. Just put in open pre-order, let people order it. If they miss the window, they miss the window, but they're producing it themselves and there's no overhead. So if they sell, let's say 500,000, they print 500,000 and they immediately ship them once they're done. There's no stock, there's no warehouse fees. They don't have to deal with any of that. It's not taking up any room, and they make customers happy. And you know what? If they put it out and it sells 3,000, then they print 5,000, or that's their own minimums. They could probably just print 3,000 and screw their own minimums.
That's true.
And print it out and send it out and say, okay, well, we're not going to do this genre again, or even put a caveat: we need to sell at least 5,000 of them. I guarantee you, if it's a Nintendo first-party IP, it's going to sell more than 5,000 units.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised with the Mario Kart 8 thing, because that really was awful. That was like one that I would have gotten had it wasn't like New York exclusive. Like,
it wasn't even the fact that it was New York exclusive. That was 500. If it was New York exclusive and they had 1 million of them, I would be fine. You could at least buy them online.
Right.
But it was 500 copies for all, and it's North America. It's not even the U.S. Mexico and Canada included. And the same with Hyrule Warriors, because Zelda and Mario Kart are two of Nintendo's tiniest franchises, and clearly
No one plays those
in
games.
this entire continent. I mean, you're talking an entire continent of people, one of the most populated continents in the world, not the most, but one of them, and 500 copies. That's it.
I mean, to be fair, Wii U wasn't exactly a Switch machine or a Wii. It was
Wii U.
a drastic difference between the sales of that one.
500 is,
Yeah,
I could see a limited amount, but 500.
Yeah, that's definitely. I'm not saying the number is not right, but I'm just saying they don't need to produce like 1 million copies of the game if only like 500 Wii U's are sold.
What they could have done is they could have done a pre-order. They could have contacted GameStop, Walmart, Target, whatever, and said, we're going to give you 1 week to take pre-orders, and let everybody know you have 1 week to take pre-orders, and then close them off. And everybody give us the numbers, and everybody send them the numbers, and they get, let's say they get 20,000 pre-orders. Okay, well then they print 20,000. Fun fact: Nintendo doesn't sell things at a loss except for the 3DS at the very start when they had to drop the price. Everything they've sold historically has been for profit. So these games are going to be sold for profit. So no matter what the number is, they're making money. So they should do it, because that's what businesses are out there to do, is to make money.
Did you know Nintendo doesn't like making money, though?
They don't like money.
Sometimes they actually don't. I fully believe. Look at Operation Rainfall, right? We had to beg for Xenoblade Chronicles. They thought so little of it that they gave us the English, as in European English, translation, and then the vocals and all that, the dub, and they wouldn't even pay to do it themselves in Nintendo of America. And now look, Xenoblade's millions of copies sold. It's one of their tentpole games, especially on the Switch. It's doing exceptionally well, and we had to beg for it. They didn't even want to give it a chance. We had to flat out beg for it.
Yep. That's something we could probably talk about it at a future episode too. Now that Doug Bowser has been at the helm for a while too, like, are we seeing increases, and is it getting better or worse, or that sort of thing from a Nintendo of America standpoint? We got too much to talk about tonight, but that just popped in my head. So maybe a future episode we can kind of do a little bit of a analysis of where Nintendo of America is compared to past years and stuff like that, especially when it comes to things like that too. Yeah, let's take a shift from Xenoblade into Nintendo Switch Online. So we've actually had several stories surrounding Nintendo Switch Online over this last couple of weeks, really over this last several days. The first one that we're going to dig into is a rumor. I'm going to let it be known from the rooftops. This is a rumor. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but if it is confirmed, check one off of my predictions for 2022 and also 2021. But Game Boy and Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, apparently there has been an emulator that has been found in the development kit for the Nintendo Switch. There was someone on Twitter named Trash Bandicoot, basically said, so official Game Boy Advance emulator for the Nintendo Switch just leaked. Now it's just a matter of time waiting on NSO to add GBA. There's lots of different games that were added to, or at least seems like they were added to the list that could be coming out. Again, this is total rumor. Nintendo has since denied the claims of all this, so we don't know if it's actually legit or if it's not. So if you see it out there, a lot of people have been claiming that it's faked. A lot of people are saying that it is true. This is actually there. So until Nintendo actually comes out or you see it yourself and you're able to confirm it 100%, first let us know. And then secondly, then it's actually real. But right now we're gonna still claim it as a rumor. But yeah, do you guys actually think this is going to happen? Is this legit? And if so, what games are you excited about playing on from Game Boy, from the Game Boy library, the entire GBA, GBC, GB library on Nintendo Switch? What do you think, Barry?
I mean, I think we've all been expecting Game Boy to come to NSO. I mean, we were expecting, after the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, we're like, oh, Game Boy Classic's next. Game Boy or N64, one of the two, and neither came. So I think we were all expecting Game Boy to follow on this. And I know I was, and I'm sure many others, when they announced the N64, and one more thing, we were all like, oh, here comes Game Boy. And we were all surprised by the Genesis because we didn't expect that. We expected Game Boy. So yes, I do expect there to be a Game Boy. I really hope that it's added to the expansion pack and they don't raise the price. It would be great if they added it to the base model, but I don't see them doing that with the expansion pack. But at least if they add it to expansion pack without raising the price, I think that would be very good. As for games, there's so many great games on those systems. I would love to go back and replay Golden Sun 1 and 2. Definitely doing stuff like Lunar Legend, even though it's not as good as the base Lunar. It's just a great RPG. Dragon Quest 1 to 3 was on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Dragon Quest Monsters, which I loved as a kid, and I never got to play the second one. Probably go back and try those out. There's just so many great. Oh God, if they put the Mega Man games, Mega Man 5. Mega Man 5 is the best Mega Man game that people have not played. It's so good, and it's completely original on the Game Boy, and it's never been brought anywhere else. The Mega Man Mania for Game Boy Advance never came out. It was canceled. That one for sure. And probably Castlevanias if those go. I think 2 of them are on the Castlevania collection for the on the Switch, but there's the third one, Castlevania Legends. I'd like to see that get there.
Nice. Yeah, there's so many games, and I know for people that are into preserving gaming culture and gaming history and everything, something like this actually takes us some good steps in the future. I mean, it's not your hardware that you can put on the shelf and all that sort of thing, but it's a step in the right direction if they do keep getting this kind of thing, and gives people the opportunity to play games that maybe they would never have before. I was just talking to stopped at a 7-Eleven on my way home today and was talking to the lady there, and she saw my shirt and she's like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get an N64. I was like, you can go get one, but I was like, do you have a Switch? It was like, because they just added, N64 games to the online there. And she's like, oh, no, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's another way to play those games. And it's kind of like, best of both worlds. If you, only have money to get one system, you kind of get to be able to do that. Not that it's the greatest experience for N64, but it is it is an option though for people. Greg, when you think about this rumor, first, do you think it has any legs there, or and then secondly, what would you be excited to play?
It's really difficult to see if there is any legs on it because like obviously like there was like the hack for like the leak or whatever for like, Nintendo's working on like the new like Switch Pro or whatever like from Nvidia, and it's kind of hard to say like what is like fact and fiction. So like even like with this, like they're obviously always looking to expand like their systems. Like we've been begging for GameCube games and we still haven't really got any formal GameCube emulator, but like I think it wasn't like when the Switch like initially launched, like they had found like the NES emulator, which obviously eventually came to be true. But I thought like the original golf game
Mm.
was like kind of buried in the code or something like that, and you can access it by doing some sort of like Easter egg kind of thing or
I
whatever
think it was
hack. Or,
Sakura's birthday or something like that. You had to put in
Yeah,
to
it
change
had
the date to
something to
that.
do with Iwata, I think, though.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, maybe it was Awada. Yeah, Awada's
Yeah.
birthday.
yeah. So like there could be like an update to the expansion pack, but I mean, even with like one of the stories that's coming up with, they're adding more DLC to it. Like, are they really going to add a whole another system without creating another tier? And that would really, really stink, especially since the service is not the best to begin with. So, like, the service has technically changed since before they started charging for it. Like, they haven't really don't have dedicated servers. They haven't removed like lag and whatnot, and some games are a lot harder to play online.
Mm.
And I don't
Yeah.
think adding more onto the fire really does a whole lot of stuff there. I mean, I
Yeah,
would,
just to be clear, you're talking the online service itself. So even though we have more features, being able to play more games and all that stuff, you're talking like we still have crappy online experience, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I mean, yeah. So, if they actually are going to be improving the other aspects of it, then yes, I would be very welcome to have more consoles and other things. But I really think the other libraries need to be ironed out a little bit more as well. So like the NES library is still lacking a lot of stuff that's been on previous virtual console services, and so that includes both 64 and Super Nintendo, along with NES. There was so many more games that were on the previous virtual console offerings that haven't made their way over. So
Mm-hmm.
would rather
There was
prefer they focus on that.
there was that leak of like N64 titles, with like a whole list of titles with a lot of blanks in there. So I'm
That's
fairly
true.
certain plenty more N64 games are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I think there was like Perfect Dark and some other ones that you wouldn't even think that would ever see the light of day in N64 or whatever, but
Yeah.
you never really
Banjo
know.
Kazooie's there.
That's true. You know
Yep.
something that I saw the other day. I can't remember if it was in our Discord or somewhere else, but I was seeing it. But I didn't realize how small the N64 library was in comparison to the other consoles. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that's like my own collection of N64 games is the least I owned of any other console, and except for GBA, and which is funny we're talking about that. But but yeah, there's not a whole lot to pick from as well. I mean, there's quality games out there, but I think that's another reason why we have such a low number of N64 games that could potentially be on there because the library was just considerably smaller.
Well, you have to remember when the N64 came out, it was significantly harder to develop for than the Saturn or the PlayStation with the cartridges. A lot of third parties completely left Nintendo, like Square, and the N64 survived on Nintendo's first party offerings and Rare's second party offerings for the most part, with some exclusives here or there, of course. Um, and like in high school, it was the greatest system for me because we didn't have a lot of money, you're not really working or going to school, so you could pretty much get the next big game on a birthday or Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that, like, some kind of holiday, or even if you said, hey, look, this is my next game for the next couple months, you can kind of weasel that out of your parents, because that was it. You got these big tentpole games, and there was very little else for the rest of the month or to the next tentpole game. There were games, of course, but a lot of them were either lower quality or just worse ports than were on PlayStation. And if you didn't have any other system, the N64 was not the best library overall, and it definitely probably the library that aged the least or the worst. Like it's aged like terribly. It's but
Yeah.
that's what makes sense. And if you take Rare out of the equation, because Rare is now Microsoft, and yes, Banjo-Kazooie's there, and let's hope that that's the rule and not the exception, what do you got? Nintendo's first party offerings can only carry so far, and then you got to deal with third party. Now, that being said, there are some amazing exclusive third party titles like Ogre Battle 64. Get that game on there. Harvest Moon 64. Get that game on there. Those games are amazing, amazing titles. People need to play them. Get them on there. There's a game that I know a lot of people didn't go crazy for, but I liked, Hybrid Heaven from Konami. It was like a fighting RPG. Really, really like mature style. Looked great. And things like that. Like, get those lesser known games. Iggy's Wrecking Ball, Snowboard Kids 1 and 2. There were some Mischief Makers. There are some fantastic gems on this system. Let's get them on there. But there's a reason it's always going to be the smallest library.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the PlayStation library, you look at the Saturn library, you look at the N64 library from that generation. PlayStation dwarfs the other two combined. I think N64 then overtakes Saturn in America. In Japan, Saturn dwarfs N64. Saturn was only alive from 95 until 98, and early 98 when it was killed, till the Dreamcast. Sega had nothing. The N64 was alive from 96 until 2001. So that says something.
It's true. It's true. And a lot of those, their top quality first party games have already been remade or already available in some form or fashion, already on Switch, or other ways to play it. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm thinking that I don't have any reason to believe it's not true, this rumor. And honestly, like it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I've been predicting it the last couple of years because it makes a lot of sense to bring all the Game Boy lineup over. And there's some quality games. I didn't get into much of the GBA games, but I had a lot of Game Boy games, and some of those need to just survive on the Game Boy. They're just nothing but nostalgia. But there's other games that really would be cool to play again, or have available for a new younger audience that never got their hands on it before.
Definitely like the Oracle games from the Game Boy library would be fantastic to have, because I feel like those are like some of the hardest ones to port over. Don't really see as much love as like other Zelda games. I definitely just think that the Metroid games deserve to come off of there, like Metroid Fusion and Zero Mission. I think that would be excellent to have, just seeing just how well like Dread's been. So there's definitely some really good gems in that library that can easily be moved over. I mean, I think all of those are pretty much on either 3DS or Wii U Virtual Console right now. So hopefully they can get a good list from those already started.
You know what? How about this? You know how Pokemon Home is closing? How about they bring the Pokemon games from Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance on there, connect it to the Pokemon Bank or whatever. Maybe the bank's closing and Home is not. Whatever one's not closing, it connects to. And then those can go into Sword, Shield, Legends, Let's Go, Violet and Scarlet, and all that stuff, and allow people to bring those. That prints money.
Yep. Now, if only I could hook up my original blue cartridge and get those same Pokemon over.
You can.
Well, I guess technically I could if I wanted to.
You have to daisy chain them all.
Yeah. And then I also have to pay money, and I'm like, is that really worth it? Because I really don't even play the newest Pokemon. And but it'd just be fun to have.
That would be a big big
Yeah.
feature, because I remember when they went to they released for the anniversary on the 3DS, they did red, blue, and yellow, and that was a big thing. You could bring them into the
Mm.
3DS games, and now with Pokemon, I think it's Bank is the one that's closing.
Yeah.
It's closing on the 3DS. That was one of the ways people were transferring those things. So everything now on the 3DS is now going to be locked in Bank, which is gone. You can't connect it to the new games. So how are you going to bring those games over to the new one with Home? Well, here's a solution. And you want to play them, you got to sign up for NSO expansion pack.
There you go. Oh, and if the expansion pack includes Home, there you go.
Ooh, even better. I like that. I see where you're going with it.
Because then I'd finally have Home, because I've never paid for it. But
And then here's the new cost of the expansion pack.
right. Hey, honestly, if they keep throwing all that stuff in, we'll get into that in just a second. Before we jump into that, though, let's talk about the new games that were added to NSO. 3 new Genesis games that, Barry was talking about, just shadow dropping things. Nintendo's been shadow dropping stuff like crazy. And we got Shining Force 2, Sonic Spinball, and Space Harrier 2. All added to the expansion pack for Nintendo Switch Online. And so, 3 brand new Genesis games. The console that totally shocked us when they said they were including it in the expansion pack, because we never saw that happening. But it has happened, and we've got several games already out for Genesis, but now you can play Space Harrier 2, Shining Force 2, and Sonic Spinball. So what do you guys think about this? Have you got a chance to play any of these? Are you excited to play any of these? Does it add to the value of having Genesis on there? Greg, let's go to you first.
Well, I did just open up the Genesis pack for the first time this weekend. I've not really played like previous like Genesis games like much at all. I never had a Sega Genesis, like the original console. So I had played like Sonic games and maybe a few multiplayer ones like at a friend's house at points, but most of these games I've actually never heard of. So I mean, I'll probably at least be checking out like the Sonic Spinball. That sounds like it would be like a lot more fun as it's a Sonic game. But that's my limited knowledge of Genesis. It's kind of hard to know like what stuff is good and what stuff is not. So
I find this pretty funny, because Shining Force is to Sega what Fire Emblem was to Nintendo. Like, Shining Force is literally Sega's answer to Fire Emblem. So since you love Fire Emblem, you will most likely love Shining Force.
What timing? Because I'll be hoping to dive back into Fire Emblem too. So that's gonna be
Nice.
great to go along with it. But yeah, I did. I mean, even just playing like the verses on the Sonic 2, like there was considerable lag. I mean, it wasn't even online. It was just like local, just playing local, like 2 players. There was some significant like lag and slowdown, like just having like me and my daughter playing. So I really hope that they're increasing the quality on some of these games.
Like controller lag, like input lag, or like
screen lag, like
frame slowdown.
Frame slowdown.
Interesting. They're just emulating what it was like on the original console.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
I was like, it almost feels like I'm playing on like a CRTV or something.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I mean, I really hope the quality gets heightened, or they look at fixing it, because right now I don't think it's expansion pass worthy if it's like
yeah,
kind of like the game breaking bugs in the N64 games.
Yeah, I'd say of these 3 games, honestly, Sonic Spinball is the one that I'm most excited about. Space Harrier, I think, was, in my opinion, at the time, was probably a cool thing, but I don't know if it really held up over time. My opinion. But Shining Force 2 is probably the strongest of them. I'm just not into that genre. But my guess is probably the strongest of the 3. But I'm always up for a good pinball game. And I know Lunchbox was talking about, I think it was, or someone was talking about, about GBA being a great place for pinball games. And I actually, pinball was one of the genres of games that I played the most on on my GBA. That and Mario Kart, because that was awesome to be able to take it on the go.
Did you play Revenge of the Gator on the Game Boy?
I didn't.
Oh, great pinball game. I think that was made by HAL, maybe.
Oh, okay. maybe that'll come to the to the NSO when it comes out. But Barry, what do you think about these ones?
The weird thing about these three games is that all three of these games are already included on the Sega Genesis collection that you could download digitally or purchase physically. So it's kind of weird that they haven't gone past that roster yet. It's already available on the system. It's like, come on, give us more. Like these three games are fine, give us more. I'm wondering if Sonic Spinball was added because it's not going to be included in Origins, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Shining Force 2 is a classic. I'm not big into strategy role playing games, anymore, but it was absolutely blast back in the Genesis when I did play it. And I never played Space Harrier 2, or just the first one, but I've heard the second one lags like crazy on the Genesis. So if it lagged then, I'm sure it's going to lag here now. So
Well, if Greg's having that experience, probably.
Yeah, that's not giving me high hopes for like newer games. I mean, it's not even using an internet connection. It's just
Yeah. Nice. Well, let's also jump in. We also had some more Nintendo Switch Online news, and we found out that yet another game's DLC is going to be added to the expansion pack, and that is Splatoon 2. That's the Octo expansion that probably a lot of people, maybe not tons, but some people have already purchased. I know Greg was one of them. But now you can get that entire expansion pack, DLC pack included with the Nintendo Switch expansion pack. So that adds to the value of the expansion packs. And not only are you getting the N64 games, the Genesis games, you're getting the Animal Crossing DLC, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Now you're getting Splatoon 2 DLC. Potentially Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games in the future. And so, we're not going to necessarily talk about the expansion pack, but what I'd love to know is I want to know your guys' thoughts on Nintendo Switch Online and the expansion pack. Is the value getting there? I know, Greg, you alluded to earlier, like the increase of the what you get with that your money has definitely, I think we can all agree that the value just keeps going up for that. But is it enough to, pay that much when online is still so-so for most games? So your experience itself is only so-so. Like, what is the value there? Should people actually, be purchasing Nintendo Switch Online and the expansion pack? Especially now with all these latest additions and potentially more. I mean, Barry, I know you said this is what they should be doing is keep adding more and more DLC. This one is a past DLC, not a future DLC, but it seems like they're kind of going down that road that you were talking about. So, Barry, what do you think about the value here?
I'm happy. I'm happy to see them do this because this was something I suggested that they do when they first showed off Animal Crossing. It's like it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, especially with older games. The people who really want them, those DLC have already got it. So this is just icing on the cake, and it almost feels like icing on the cake during a down period, right? Just added Mario Kart. That's something new. They don't have any new DLC coming out right away to add. So let's add older DLC so we can kind of keep upping the value. Probably subscribers were down. Like, oh, the subscribers down. How do we do it? Let's throw some old DLC. It also came. We're going to talk about next. It came right before what else they announced. So it makes sense, and it makes me wonder, like, will we get Breath of the Wild DLC before Breath of the Wild 2 drops, and will we get, any other type of DLC pack like that? Will Pokemon next before Scarlet and Violet, will the Sword and Shield Battle Pass or whatever go? I hope so. I think that just adds more value, and I know some people may not have purchased. Like, I probably wouldn't have purchased the Animal Crossing DLC, but I got it. Mario Kart's DLC, I probably wouldn't have purchased it until it was done. Like, at the end, let me go ahead. I don't need to race a few things, but I have it for free now. So, of course, I'm going to experience it and give it a try. Smash Brothers, they could put the DLC packs, there. So I'd like to see them continue to do this. Overall, I think it's a smart move. I do agree with Greg that the performance of the online play should be priority, and I think people will be happy about that. But that has to be part of the base model. That can't be part of the expansion pack because that will really piss people off. But I'm happy to see them constantly adding things. So if they add new systems, they are constantly adding new games to that and new DLC without. And the most important thing is they can't raise the price. So for those that felt the expansion pass was worth jumping in at launch, it's definitely worth it at this point. And if you said it's too lean when it came out, they wanted more. At this point, I hope they're starting to think and say, well, there's been a lot of N64 and Genesis games added since. They've got, Animal Crossing was there at the start, but now you got Mario Kart, now you got Splatoon 2. Maybe now it's starting to be more worthwhile. And if they add GBA and Game Boy and Game Boy Color, hopefully that would, help as well. Because it's all about value. We, as consumers, we should get value with everything we purchase. And what's valuable to one person may not be valuable to another. Someone said, I don't want to play the N64 or the Genesis games. I don't care. There's no value there. But now they're like, oh, Mario Kart I love. Or, oh, Splatoon 2, I never picked that up. Maybe for those, it's worth it. And you know what? If a lot of people will play a game, right, they'll beat the game and then they'll put the game down and probably never play it again. This is why we have trade-ins. This is why people do this kind of thing. That's fine. DLC, it's the same thing. People purchase DLC and then they beat it and they usually don't play it again for the majority of, especially if it's single player stuff. So this could be a great way for people to rent DLC. Hey, let me get a year or even just a month of Nintendo Switch expansion pack, play the DLC and it's cheaper, and then put it away. And they get the other stuff as well, the other benefits.
Yeah, that's true. Greg, you shared some thoughts on it earlier. Any further thoughts that you want to share around NSO so far?
Yeah, I was pretty much kind of agreeing with Barry. I really think that the past DLC would make great content for it, like especially the Smash Brothers one. Like, I don't want to have to buy two copies of it, one for my daughter and one for me. I'd much rather like the Fighter Pass be part of the service. And I was kind of hoping that they would add in past DLC, but now that there's a precedence with Splatoon, that could be a future consideration. I mean, I don't know like how long they would wait before they would like add it in. Like, would it be like an E3 announcement, like around E3, like when we would have had it this year, or would it be something like this holiday? I mean, I don't know. It would be great to see more value just being added in to it with other DLCs that they've released. I mean, I've never purchased the Fire Emblem DLC, so that would be great to have like the Three Houses DLC to be part of it as well. I would be much more tempted to want to maintain it just to be able to play through it and enjoy that DLC. I'm not usually one to dive like super deep into like DLC for the most part, but when I see the value of it and it's worth it, then I get it. Like the Breath of the Wild DLC, that was a no-brainer. I knew I was going to be playing that game for more than just like a few months. Like, that's easily one of my highest logged hours, number of hours in a game on the Switch.
So if we're talking about putting out DLC, older DLC, with the announcement or release of a newer game, it wouldn't surprise me in prediction for E3 if they announced that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Season Pass DLC, possibly including Torna, because Torna was part of that Season Pass, but even without Torna, all that stuff is added as a free bonus because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will be coming out so soon. To get people, hey, you know what, you played Xenoblade 2, or maybe you didn't. Here's some added DLC, and if Torna is included in that, that's huge because that's a full game. But that's why I can kind of see them not doing Torna. But the DLC, the Season Pass, added a bunch of new modes, New Game Plus, a bunch of new quests, new blades, a bunch of items. So I can see at least that going there for free.
It's true. And Torna is discontinued now, like it's in terms of physical, right? So out of print. Yep. So yeah. That I love what you brought up though, Greg. Like, I never thought about the family pack idea though. Like, if you do have it, you can buy a family pass for Nintendo Switch Online, but for the DLC, you have to buy those individually. But to have that for your entire family, like, that value is all of a sudden multiplying in terms of like, what you're getting out of that. That was a really cool thought that I hadn't thought about yet.
Yeah, like the Animal Crossing was more than enough just to get it because she was super into Animal Crossing. That was like, well, this is my first Animal Crossing thing. I don't have to have it, but I would gladly play it if I'm getting it as part of the value of it. So as soon as like Mario Kart was being added on, I'm like, now this is definitely really worth it for us because she's also super into Mario Kart.
Mm.
And I mean, I did say we played some Splatoon 2 matches, and now she'll actually want to play the DLC because I think she's like seen previous trailers or seen other people being like Octolings and whatever in their game, and now she'll be able to play through the Octoling expansion. So, like, that was one of the things that she didn't like, being separated off of my Switch console and not having the DLC. So,
Yeah.
I think for games that you can play multiplayer, it's definitely the DLC is much more value to have it as part of the expansion pack. Like, I mean, Breath of the Wild is a solo experience, so not as much value getting multiple family members to play it. But like games like Mario Kart, sure, that's just gangbusters right there. I mean, if you're
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're getting two or more people on like their own Switch and like being able to just share that DLC and not having to spend $75 for 3 copies of the DLC, that's significant right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, talking about Splatoon 2 and the DLC coming out, we also got some information about Splatoon 3. So, Greg, tell us about that.
Yeah, so with like the announcement of Xenoblade getting pushed up, like we actually got like the a similar announcement where Splatoon 3 now has an official launch date, and that is right in that September timeframe, being September 9th of 2022. So the third entry is just got its official release date, and it's like pretty much just right towards that end of that summer window that they were previously revealed it for. So they released a new trailer that has some of the new the turf war gameplay. They showed off like a new stage like the E-tail alley. There's some new weapons like the stinger and a bow-shaped weapon that you can like sling ink sideways and vertically. There's like a spider tank special of sorts with a grappling hook. So you could definitely check out like the trailer that we have posted. And I don't know, do you guys be picking up Splatoon 3 when it comes out?
I think I'll pick it up. I'm not sure. I was really excited about Splatoon 1, and I was pretty excited about Splatoon 2, and played it considerably less. I played it a lot when it first came out, but after that, it's been yeah, it didn't have a long shelf life for me. I mean, actually, it's set on the shelf more. But anyway, and yeah, so Splatoon 3, I don't know. I the jury's still out on this for me, but you know, it's cool, and it totally made sense when people were speculating a lot, like you said, like, oh, now the Xenoblade's moved up, there's a window there, and of course, yeah, Splatoon 3 took that window. So, and it's actually coming out on my mom's birthday, so I won't get it for her. She wouldn't play it, but but yeah,
She'd
I
love
don't
to
know.
shoot you with some ink. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, but yeah, I'm still on the fence. I don't know, like the Jake's talking about the salmon run mode. I do like that concept, and if it's in the game more than it was but for Splatoon 2, then that could get me to convinced, but I don't know, I'm still on the fence. What do you think, Barry?
I mean, am I gonna get it? Yes.
You get everything.
I'm gonna get it. Am I gonna play it? Probably not. I never played Splatoon 2. I did play a lot of Splatoon 1. I went through the whole story. I loved the story. I loved the challenge of the platforming, and especially the final boss was really cool. You used the amiibo, did like the amiibo challenges where you use like the paint roller in certain stages and stuff. A lot of fun. But I kind of moved away from it. So by the time Splatoon 2 came out, it was, summer 2017, and I was just doing other things. I played ARMS instead. I played more ARMS than Splatoon. And I was like, well, maybe I'll get to it. And that never happened because too many other games came out. So I think it looks great. I'm happy for those that love it. I love the music. I think Splatoon 3 music or any Splatoon music in general is just always really funky cool. But it's not a game I plan on jumping into. And I say plan because anything can happen. It'll be September, but it's not something I'm super hyped into, but I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love the story mode. So I usually go through and like just beat the story mode. I barely really play online. Like I'm still only like level 7 on Splatoon 2, and I probably didn't even get that high in Splatoon 1. Just was more playing through the story modes just because I think they were just very creatively done. Even though it's like, at least in the first game, was more like an afterthought just to kind of get you to play the game. But like you said, I like the angle they took with like DJ Octavian and such, and how they kind of changed it up in Splatoon 2 with like the um, whatever the two girls are. I can just blanking on their names from Splatoon 1.
Callie and Marie.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, Callie and Marie, yeah. And how they were included in the story of Splatoon 2, that was really cool there. So I don't really know where they're going to be headed in Splatoon 3, and I'll be more looking to enjoy the story there. So I still have to beat the Acto expansion on Splatoon 2, but now I have more reasons to do so now that it's part of the pack, and my daughter will want to play it and have time before September 9th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I think I've said this before. It totally made sense. I think when they moved from Splatoon 1 that was on Wii U, Splatoon 2 on Switch, that made sense to have a new game. I think I still would have wished they just updated and provided more DLC or more like enhancements to Splatoon 2 instead of releasing a brand new game. Like because
But it's more than that. There's the story. It's a whole brand new story.
right, but like I feel like they're I don't know. Maybe this time they are pushing the story a little bit more, but I feel like originally where I saw them putting a lot of energy was actually in the esports scene, and that is totally apart from story. And so for me, if they want to in the esports, like to me, like those games do better if they have a longer life ahead of them. They just keep enhancing those games, so that people can just keep getting better and better. New console makes more sense to release a new version like Smash Brothers, but yeah, maybe they are realizing, hey, a lot of more people like Greg really enjoy the story. Therefore, we do need a full new version, a new iteration of this game for a sequel because of that. But if
Well,
it was
remember the first trailer for Splatoon 3? It was all story based. It was like in the desert, and people were like, oh my, is this open world Splatoon? What is this? Like that was a story driven opening. Of
true.
course, it still showed like action and combat, but
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely focusing on the story.
So it is interesting. Then are they? I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to push both sides now. Maybe they.
I could definitely see your point. It could easily just be like just called Splatoon, and they could just drop like story DLCs. I mean, the gameplay I can't imagine really changes that drastically between Splatoon 1 to 2 to 3. I mean, obviously they have to do some tweaks for like the weapon adjustments and modifications, but I think for the most part it's pretty much standardized, and
Yeah.
they could really just do like more like Octo expansions for a Splatoon game and just
Mm-hmm.
dropping new pieces of the story like a mobile game would be, and
Yeah.
that would be pretty much sufficient to pretty much have like a everlasting type game, really.
I'd
I remember
be
when
happy with that.
Splatoon 2 was first shown off, and it was shown off in that very first NX video when the Switch was first shown off. People thought it was Splatoon being ported to the Switch, and then when it was Splatoon 2 and people play, I was like, is this really Splatoon 2 or more like 1.5?
Right.
So,
And which
I get that.
yeah, I'd be totally okay. I think the biggest thing that I don't like is it's completely. I don't know. I think it's similar. We've talked about this with Mario Kart, for instance. Do we need another Mario Kart? Just keep releasing more enhancements to it. We've kind of gotten the deluxe version. It's called that. Same thing with Smash Brothers. Do
Not
we
the
need a
ultimate
new
version of
version
Mario
of Smash Brothers? Exactly. We just have Ultimate. We get Deluxe. Would just give us this version of Splatoon that has all the old levels in it, has the old weapons in it, and you just can kind of continue to build upon what you have already instead of releasing a brand new game that all of a sudden, oh man, the gun that I was used to using is no longer there, or it's been changed, or the levels that I was wanting to play on are no longer there. They've been changed.
I agree with you, Steve, but I also am fine with a brand new game as well, as long as nothing is removed, kind of
Yeah.
deal. So Splatoon 3, brand new storyline, everything from Splatoon 1 and 2 brought over, plus new stuff. That's cool. Like Smash Brothers, if the next Smash Brothers is like a trimmed down roster, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Take the roster, take everything you have, bring it over, and then add new story mode, add new stages, add new characters. You already have a great base.
Yep.
Now with Smash Brothers, I can see if they say, well, everyone's brought back, but this third-party character in this one because of rights, that's fine. It sucks, but I understand that. But that's a different situation because you're dealing with rights. Bring everything back. You have a working model. Make Mario Kart 9 have every course from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, including the booster pack courses, on top of at least 16 brand new courses. And here's Mario Kart 9, here's the 16 courses you expect, and then here's everything else from Mario Kart 8. You just have everything in one shot. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's really hard to go. I mean, if you don't do that, you are going to make the player base really ticked off. Like after adding so much that the game before it, and then you trim down the next version, yeah, they're going to be upset.
Now here's the thing, unless they changed it. Like if the next Smash Brothers was akin to like Street Fighter, for example, a 2D one-on-one, or maybe you had teams like 3v3, but it's only one at a time, completely different format, then I can absolutely see a more trimmed down roster because you're not able to carry everything over. But if it's the same gameplay which it will be, no reason to cut that out.
Yep.
You have the codings already there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, let's move on to our last news story of today, and it's a little, we were talking about some other things being a little convoluted. This one's a little convoluted. So, Barry, tell us all about the Sonic Origins
Yes.
thing.
So Sonic Origins was announced back at the Sonic anniversary event they did. It's bringing back and remastering Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, and CD. They brought a brand new trailer with beautiful new animation. Looks great. Everyone's excited about it. Unfortunately, this is digital only, which kind of sucks. B, you can choose your platform to pre-order it right now on their webpage, but the Switch, for whatever reason, is not included. I don't know why, but it is coming to Switch. But then they decided to give us one of these charts. These charts are used by other companies to show, here's all the different modes and different versions and all the things you get, trying to incentivize people to go for the highest tier. Like, look at all the extra things you get. And I really, really, really want to believe that this chart is a giant troll, because this chart is the most asinine chart that could be done. In fact, this chart is now getting mocked. Like, Devolver Digital is actually putting out their newest game. Here's a chart, and here's all the things you get in all the modes and version, and there's only one version, and you get everything. It's hilarious. So, looking at the chart, you get the main game, which you get in the standard edition, which is great. Then you get 100 bonus coins, which is included with the pre-order. So if you pre-order it, mirror mode. And by the way, the 100 bonus coins is to unlock stuff, which you can earn in games anyway, so it's no big deal. Mirror mode, which is also unlockable in game. You unlock it instantly with a pre-order, but it's still unlockable in game. And then letterbox background, the actual background going letterbox. Like, that is a feature that's included with your pre-order. So the next thing over is the Start Dash pack, which is free DLC, and it's included, as a pre-order. And it's just those three things. You already said that in the first column with standard edition. Why do you need a second edition or a second column to say the same damn thing? You don't. Convoluted as hell. Has to be a troll. So then we go to the Premium Fun pack. Premium Fun. What comes in Premium Fun? You get hard missions. Missions unlock coins. Things to accomplish, kill X amount of enemies, stuff like that. Fine. You get that letterbox background again, even though you might have gotten it from pre-order, but we're going to give it to you again for reasons unknown. Then you're going to get the Premium Fun additional things of character animation in the main menu. Wow. Okay.
That's not in the main game.
That's not in the main game. That's extra. Camera controls over the main menu islands. So, like, there's a picture of, like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles that shows Angel Island. You get to rotate it. Premium Fun, Sega. Then you get character animations during Music Island. So I guess the sound test. You get character animations in the sound test as Premium Fun. And this is just crazy. This is what you call Premium Fun? Okay. That's coming soon. You can't even pre-order it. Then they have the classic music pack as an extra column with one thing, additional music tracks from the Genesis titles. Or you could just go to YouTube and listen to the stuff. But that's an extra thing. But we have finally the first different icon, the Digital Deluxe, which includes everything, every single thing. Now, all this exciting premium fun stuff. You would think, besides the fact that this whole chart is convoluted and stupid and completely trolly, you would think there would be maybe a big difference. But the truth is the standard edition is $40 and the digital deluxe is $45. So this entire chart is over $5, which is so stupid. And it's like, what are you doing, Sega? You are so out of touch with everything. $5 for this. This has become a meme. People are laughing at Sega. I have to believe this is a troll. I have to believe they're just having fun. I hope so, because otherwise this is the stupidest pre-order edition chart I've ever seen, where
Yeah.
they have to, I mean, it's supposed to be content. Having character animations on a menu is not premium fun.
No. No. Wow. Well, I guess when it's only a $5 difference, yeah, I saw some other people that like here's how the chart should have looked, and it's basically just column 1, column 4 or 5 or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's it. And then instead of included with pre-order, it's just the rings, and that's it.
And they're
Yeah.
all the same icons on
It's-
top, which
yeah.
doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Greg, what do you think about all this?
I just laughed along with you guys. This is like, as soon as like, here's a special feature, you can have character animations on your menu, and like, oh, you want camera controls over an island? Oh boy, man, that $5 is just gets me so much content.
Yeah. At this point, like, why? I mean, honestly, I was actually just thinking, like, why would you not spend the extra $5? But then now I'm looking at that list and going, well, I want to keep my $5.
Yeah. The only thing would be maybe the hard missions,
No.
but
Nope.
but even that,
I'm
no.
not one to do that. Yep. Dread mode came on Metroid, and I was like, forget that. The game was hard enough
Yeah.
already.
It really
And-
depends
and
on their definition of hard. If it's
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
worth it to me. Like some hard missions are actually not too bad, but if it's like unlock dread mode, as Steve said, like no, I don't need that. You can. I'll keep
Well,
my
keep in
$5. You keep that.
Right.
Keep in mind, if you pre-order the standard edition, you're also getting the 100 bonus coins, the mirror mode, and the letter background. So those are taken out of the $5 thing anyway. And if you don't pre-order, you're at least getting mirror mode, which you can unlock. But seriously, letterbox background? Why is that a feature? What is that a feature that you should have to pay for or pre-order
No.
for? That is so stupid.
When I thought, yeah, so they're making all these games. They're making them widescreen, right? So they're all
Well,
16 by 9.
what they're doing is they're giving you like the original version, but then they actually went back and touched up and did graphical overhauls like Sonic Mania for all these games.
Oh, okay.
Like they look amazing, and I want to give them money,
So you're
but
getting
A,
both.
there's no physical. B, yeah, you are getting both. B, a lot of people feel $40 already is too expensive for these are all Genesis games, right? Sonic 2, the base Sonic 2 is on the NSO. You can get the Sega Genesis pack that has Sonic 1 and 2,
You can-
Sonic CD.
You can get
elsewhere.
Sonic 1, 2, and I think 3 free on the iOS App Store.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's easy to get those games for
So
free.
for $40, people are like, even with this touch up, this is a lot to swallow. And then to put this whole convoluted chart and then go to $45 for hard missions, like a lot of people are like, I'm just gonna wait for this to go on sale for $20, and then I'm gonna buy it, and it's gonna go on sale. And I mean, I could understand if they said, here the game is $25 digital, $40 physical with maybe a nice art book to sell, because it's supposed to be celebrating the anniversary, something to celebrate the anniversary. I don't think anyone would care. $40 for yeah, absolutely get that stuff physical. People would do it. But no, it's digital only. For $5 more, you can get camera controls and animations on a menu with letterbox mode. What the is this? This is I've never seen. There's that meme that has like a burger like at McDonald's, and it's like regular games, and then if it's EA, it's like the lettuce is a DLC pack and the tomato is a DLC pack. And I'm sure you've seen these memes where it's like, you want the whole burger, you got to pay all this. This is what Sega's doing. They're following this model, but at least with other companies, the DLC is real content. We were just talking about Octo Expansion, real content. The other games that Nintendo puts out, it's real content. Mario Kart courses. This is character animations in a menu. What does it matter? You're going to be on that menu for 5 seconds. And if you see the animations, you might go, oh, that's cute, and then never care again.
It's like beta version of the game, final version of the game. Yeah.
You could tell they were just like, we need to pad this chart to be cool or something.
Oh boy. Well, that's Sonic Origins. Hopefully you pick the right version if you get it.
You can only purchase 2 right now.
That's
2 are coming soon, and one is a pre-order column.
It's going to be like $1 difference between all the different versions.
Probably.
Let us know what version you're getting in the comments down below.
And Barry, it sounds like you need to write them an email to get this on physical. So
I would love to do it, but that's Sega. I don't think they would even look at our email if I emailed them. They'd be like, whatever, because it's Sega, and they have the money to do it. And it's Sonic. It's supposed to be for an anniversary. Why not do a physical? Why not? I mean, this is supposed to harken to your fans that played the games on the Genesis. The people who played the games on the Genesis came out in 1989. Sonic came out, I think, in 91. So you're looking at people who are in their 30s, people with expendable income, people who want to enjoy showcasing their favorite character. And if you look at the Mario 3D All-Stars, what happened? The physical sold like 8 million units, over 8 million for the physical for 3D All-Stars, and that was just ports pretty much.
And it wasn't a good thing.
This could easily go that high, or at least close to that if they did the physical, and people would love it. Throw it in art book, maybe more of those old Sonic movie horrible keychains they threw in with Sonic colors. Call it a day.
Or even an actual soundtrack, like an actual CD.
Yeah, look at that! Boom, you're doing that.
They're already charging you for the extra tracks. I mean,
go to YouTube for free or pay more for those tracks.
There you go. Well, that brings us to the end of our news discussion tonight. But before we move into what's happened over the next couple of weeks, just another reminder, if you have not joined us on social media, at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and if you've not joined our Discord, please do that. It's going to be a great place for you to connect with other gamers. And the link's on the screen, but also in our show notes and our YouTube description here. And it's just a great place to connect and talk games and a bunch of other stuff. Great community over there. And many of the people, actually all of the people that are in our live chat are in our Discord as well. And we just love interacting with you all. So head over there and join the Discord. Before we jump into anything else, also one more reminder, if you've not subscribed on your favorite podcast app or here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that bell on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live, every time we post a new video, anything like that. And if you're over there on Twitch, be sure to follow us on there as well and connect with everybody there too. One more reminder, who was the winner of our game again? If you've not contacted us yet by Twitter, you can go and do that.
Math Grill at Math Grill with one L, not GRILL, but one L on Twitter. Their username is Michelle.
Cool. So congratulations once again. And yet another programming note that we will be pre-recorded on our next episode. So you can still join us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, but we will not be live. We'll just be premiering that next one on our for our next episode 251. That will go live on April 11th. May 9th, 10th?
May 9th.
9? 9, May 9.
May 9.
I got the wrong date on our rundown there. It's a copy of an old one. So May 9th for the next episode, but that will be pre-recorded. So let's talk about what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks. we got a few games coming out. Again, thanks to Metacritic for putting together this list that we'll be kind of scrolling on the screen, the video version of the podcast. But the big one, of course, is Nintendo Switch Sports coming out on April 29th. So as we're recording here on April 25th, that'd be this weekend that game is going to be coming out. Also, The Starro Virus, a faceless short story, coming out on April 27th, which Barry and I have played and we'll be talking about our next episode. But several other games, a lot of indie games this time over the next couple of weeks. But Greg, let's go to you first and let us know what you're hoping to play, if any new games or if you're going to be hitting some backlog games.
It will be primarily the backlog games, but I'll definitely actually the Nintendo Switch Sports, because I've always really liked the Wii Sports thing, and like my daughter's been asking to play more Wii Sports Resort again, so like we've kind of dabbled with that like here and there, like for small bits of time, and just having them on Switch would just make it much easier. So I'll probably get it like right around like launch, but I'll have to see if everything lines up that way. But other than that, I'll probably just hitting the backlog games.
Nice. Barry, how about you?
My primary focus will be attempting to finish Horizon Forbidden West and keeping up with stuff in 14 and Mario Kart Tour mainly. That's Horizon is such a big game that it's, I'm trying to put as much time into as possible to complete. Where I go from there, I'm not sure. It's going to be one of those games I put down and go, okay, I'm done. Now what?
Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence about Nintendo Switch Sports if I'll get that right at launch. Like, I feel like it'll be a game that I eventually get. I think especially, if online ends up doing well, it'll probably be a game that I'll be pulled into faster. If it's just for like the local multiplayer experience, it'll probably wait until the next party I have, when I have people over or something like that, because I'm probably not going to be playing it too much myself. But if I have, friends coming over that we're going to be, gaming, that will probably be a game that I would like to have. But yeah, if online is good, then that could pull me in. But other than that, I'll be playing some more Lego Star Wars. And also, I am traveling this week, and so that's probably going to be the time where I finally break out Robot Nam Fight and join Greg and play a little of that on the plane. And that's probably what I'm mostly going to be playing over the next couple weeks. I am really interested by this Rift Tracks game. Like, I'm probably not going to get it, but do you guys know what Rift Tracks is? Like,
of course, MST3K.
So I'm like, I'm just intrigued. I had no idea they were putting a game out based on that, but that's
Untitled Chronicles Rising is coming too. That looks amazing. That's the prequel to the one that was on Kickstarter.
Oh, cool.
That looks a really cool game.
Cool.
Apparently, my brain wanted to tell me that was like Elden Ring's Chronicles or something. Like,
no. It's not
I know it's completely unrelated, but I'm just saying, like, my
–
brain somehow skips a bunch of letters and made it something it definitely was not.
Nice. Well, yeah, I know, Greg, you're be heading to a gaming convention. Like, is that this weekend?
Yep, it's this weekend.
So where can people find you if they want to see you in person?
Yeah, so I'll be at the Midwest Gaming Classic up in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So that's where it'll be this weekend. That's like only like a 2-hour drive here from Chicago, so it's not that bad at all, at least for me. So I'll be there representing the premium crew with Jeff and some of the other people, like new people like Joe and Sheena and stuff. So definitely step over and say, give us a holler or whatever, and say, we from NintendoFuse along with Premium Edition.
Cool.
And I want to hear stories. From that show. That was going to be legendary.
It already sounds like it's going to be based on the little chat we had going on today. I was like asking if there's any Premium Edition like clothing that I should be running while I go up there. I mean, I'll probably bring my NintendoFuse shirt, but I didn't know if like I need to like have premium edition clothes, like, oh, pants are essential or whatever. And I was like, oh, this sounds like great. So it's like,
Pants are
Yeah,
essential.
pants are essential.
Usually.
It's a show.
yeah,
You don't have to. It's not like one of
yeah,
those things where you have to have like dress shirts or anything like that. Like just be
yeah.
comfortable.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it was like a polo shirt or I have no idea. Or just wearing any gaming shirts that I have that not representing tonight. But yeah, I'll probably have my Nintendo Fuse shirt on at least for one of the days. So get
Nice.
some.
Check with Jeff on that one just in case. That's what I would
Okay.
do. I would check just in case.
Speaking of Nintendo Fuse stuff, if you have not purchased your own shirt, nice segue there, Greg.
Yep.
You can get your own Nintendo Fuse merch, and that's a great way for you to support what we do over here. So you can head over to NintendoFuse.com, click on the button that says "Buy a Shirt," and you'll be treated with a bunch of other options in addition to shirts, like phone cases and masks if you're still wearing those, and mugs and all that stuff. So in fact, that's a new design on the mug. We just redesigned it so that now that it stretches all around instead of just one side. So pretty cool. So yeah, check that out. Barry, what are you gonna be doing over the next couple weeks?
Well, I won't be going, unfortunately, because I'm still here by myself, and we have enough crew going. But I will be very busy. We have our Direct coming up. Our Series 4 Direct will air before our next podcast. So sometime between now and then, we will have a Direct. So stay tuned to Premium Social Media for that. We will be having the announcement sometime this week of when it's going to go. And just double checking with that. I got the last finishing touches, talking with the editor, making sure that goes off without a hitch. And, other than that, just doing more premium work, always looking for more titles and talking with more developers. And I'll be getting ready to do some new premium interviews. I got to start setting those up for all our new games we'll be announcing, because, I like to just get to talk to all the developers and get everybody, they get their story out to everybody.
Cool. So yeah, looking forward to that. So make sure everybody stay tuned, and probably we'll be talking about that premium Direct on our next episode. So spoiler for the next episode, we got you already know like half of what we're talking about with the Sorrow Virus. I'll figure it out before the next time we talk about it. Sorrow Virus and the Premium Edition Direct. So yeah, it can be a good episode next time. Like I said, after I finally got the date right, May 9th, is when we'll go with the pre-recorded episode for episode 251. But yeah, working our way to 500, and before you know it, have 1,000, and who knows where we go. Well, it's gonna be a good next couple weeks. Look forward to talking to you guys again. Of course, we talk in between episodes, but always fun talking games with you guys here on the podcast. And again, if you've not joined us on social media, Discord, if you haven't subscribed, all those things, be sure to do that so you can join us for episode 251 when that drops. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.